Help me welcome our speaker for today, Dismas Makanda.
Great, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very
Dismas.
much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope my sound is clear.
Morning.
Yes.
You're loud and clear.
Thank you very much, Antonia, for that introduction and the leaders of this forum. I count it a privilege to share with us and just moderate and have a conversation. I hope that we'll be able to take home something that will empower us. I know I'm speaking to leaders. Each one of us here is a leader in their own capacity. And leaders are known for taking action, sometimes in small ways, but they're able to scale it. So I trust that we'll be able to pick a few lessons here, especially on the topic that we'll be discussing on how media will be relevant to you as a person or to your institution where you work. Many of us have understanding theories around media. Maybe you say that media is radio, others say media is social media, but it has many definitions. I hope we'll be able to get a few insights to allow us be able to push our career, our aspiration, our brands to the next level as people who want to grow. One of the things that are quite exciting for the time I have been leadership is that when you feel very comfortable and you don't need more information, then know your growth has stopped. But when you are uncomfortable and every time you want to plug and learn, then know that you are on a growth trajectory. So allow me share my slide. As Antonia has mentioned, I work at HOPEMEDIA. So I will allow me use many of my examples derived from where I work from. And maybe just to begin with, probably just one person who would be able to tell us what the understanding of media. I would love this to be interactive. I will stick to the time given, stop at exactly 8. Maybe just one person to try and give us what comes to your mind when you hear about media. The moderator will help me get a person who will want just to respond to this. If you hear about media, what does it mean to you?
Yeah. One way is to put in the chat marketing. Somebody has said marketing. That is Eric Walker.
Good.
Yes. Others, airwave is the same person and says a channel of passing a message, written or spoken, communication, visibility, communication channel. Yes, to some of us, most times when we hear media, we think about the big companies like Nation Media, Standard Media Group, Royal Media. That's what comes to our mind. Yes, somebody said Sambaza, sharing information, various platforms of communicating, engaging, and the like. Yes, so those are the ideas that come to people's minds.
So thank you. Allow me to try and define it. Basically, media is the plural of medium. Basically, it's a channel of communication that includes, we have printed media, we have broadcast, and we have digital. And through this, we're able to communicate information, get entertainment, get art, get education content, be able to communicate about our brands. And this has been there for quite a long time. And allow me to quote one of our theorists from the University of Toronto. It's called MC Luhan. He wrote a book called Understanding Media, Extension of Man. And he published the book in 1964. He says, the medium is the message. The channel you're using to communicate is actually the actual message. The concept behind the phrase is that the way society sends and receives the information is more important than the actual information. I'll give an example. If you were to communicate today a message, say on a newspaper, and one communicates on TV, or one does on radio, in most cases, if it's the same message, the perception will be different. So he says the medium is actually the message. So it's important for us as we communicate, the medium you're using may actually amplify what you're saying or may give a perception of what you're saying. And this has evolved over a long time. The aspect of media, both digital, broadcast, and the new media, which we are in today, have become quite a long time. And this has brought a lot of transformation. And the way business is done today, you will go to a bank today. I know in the early 2000s, when I was at the university, the only way you will get money is to be able to get your post-bank book, carry it to the banking hall, and then ensure that the figures in your book tallies with the black book in the bank. And therefore you make a line there and then wait. Today, you don't need to go to the bank. And sometimes when you try to go to the bank and you find a queue and you come in and say, I was here, there are people who used to go to the bank and they say, because there's a lot of queue, please allow me, I was here. There's a queuing system in place. And therefore, if you come in, there's no way you're going to cut a queue. The same applies even in retail. I recently went to buy some pizza. And the things are different. As your pizza gets into the oven, you're able to see, and they tell you your pizza now is in the oven. And therefore, you cannot be able to begin to harass the attendant that have been here longer. If you've been here for about 5 minutes, wait for your pizza is about to come out. And therefore, media has had a way of transforming the way we do things, may it be in banking, may it be in how we relate with people who are not close to us. And there are many people that you know today, and you have never met them. Probably I want to ask, is there a person, when we talk about science, that comes into your mind? Or when you talk about leadership, is there a person that comes in your mind? Maybe just something on the chat. When I talk about leadership, is there a specific person that comes into your mind?
Yes, Nelson Mandela. Somebody has mentioned Nelson Mandela. Leadership. When we talk of science, I always think about people like Newton, Einstein. I think of Aristotle and all these other people. When you think of leadership, there is also John Maxwell, according to Pius Nonda, Wangari Maathai, environment, Mugabe. Yeah. Of course, we also think of, yes, Karl Marx, Rashid Bata, Dr. Omengare, Dr. S.K. Masharia. There is the Sipe and the Professor Odhiambo, Ouru, Ruto.
Fine. That's enough.
Yeah.
Basically, some of these people you were talking about, you've never met them. Like Nelson Mandela. I don't know whether you've met Nelson Mandela.
Like Flo, Lumumba, Christ.
Yes.
Yes.
You haven't met them physically, but somehow you're able to know what they have done and their impact. And that tells you that media has ability to position you. Media has ability to amplify who you are. But now the problem has been that media sometimes has not worked for us because of a few things I'm going to mention. Because what you give media is what it churns out to the rest of the public. And therefore, for you to be an effective person in terms of using media, there are a few things that I'm going to talk about that will allow you position yourself in the event that you want to use any form of media. Could it be the traditional? Could it be print? Could it be broadcast? Could it be digital? How do you become an effective brand in the eyes of the audience, especially when you're choosing any kind of media that you're using? And what is a brand?
Dismas, I don't know whether you are already moving your slide because it's still on the first one.
I'm not moving yet.
Oh, okay, great. So people can respond about brand. You can put it down.
What is a brand? And I have some pictures on the screen. If we're able to see, there are two sets of pictures there.
Yeah.
And those pictures represent a brand.
Yes.
And the brand is Fanta. I believe the content is the same, right?
Yes.
But the packaging is different. Correct?
Yeah, it is.
I believe the liter, the quantity is the same, 300 ml. All of us know it, famously known as Mwala.
Yes, we can. We believe that the content is the same, the quantity.
But I want to ask, if visitors came to your home, especially your in-laws, which one will you buy for them? Is it the first bottle or the second bottle? For those who value in-laws.
The ambulale.
The ambulale. If visitors were coming to visit you, which one would you? And why?
Somebody has said glass bottle. That is
Anne, particularly Anne, why would you buy glass bottle and not the Mwala one? The content is the same.
Okay, I'm saying it's the perception.
Could I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, soda is extremely unhealthy. Then the second part, okay, you're drinking 10 spoons of sugar minimum at a go. Then secondly, the bottle, I see 5-star hotel using glass bottles for water now because plastic is carcinogenic. Very, very dangerous for your health. So I would go for the glass bottle, but I'll give them something else.
Okay. Thank you. Another person?
Yeah, Kezia, I said glass bottle because it looks classy and presentable. Somebody, yeah, Nancy has also said the first one, it's presentable. The one on to the left, which is of course the same glass bottle. Muridi is also saying the first bottle for in-laws due to health reasons. Great.
Yes, so that tells you that the packaging has an impact on how you want your people to perceive your audience or your customers. And if you're traveling probably for a long distance and you have children, then you will go for the plastic one. Again, with a reason. That tells you that you can be able to position your brand to different audience depending on the perception that you want them to receive. The lower picture shows you some environment. And I know most of us are already asking, where is this? And many of us, when they want to do holiday, they particularly go out to some locations, and I have a location there. I don't know why you would say our ladies in the house. When you look at the picture on my right, it has some kitchen environment. Many of us would love to have such an environment. I don't know why. Is it because of cooking? Why would you love to have such an environment? I said it will be a conversation. I'll pick out a few lessons on how we can leverage on media and be able to get an impact. We have a picture on my right or on your right. A few ladies in the house. Why would you love to make your meal in such an environment?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
What I'm saying, first of all, it's very spacious. Most of the houses that are built today, the kitchen is an afterthought. So you're just bumping into one another the whole day. And then there's a place for eating. So especially for things like breakfast, I would love to just sit down and have coffee in the kitchen. And then there's lots of space to keep my stuff, my crockery, my cutlery, and my groceries, where I can just pick them from immediately, and all those drawers where I can keep the cutlery. Yeah, this kitchen doesn't look like an afterthought.
Good,
Yeah.
great. That's powerful.
Mm.
And you've not had I've not heard you talk about cooking.
Yeah, the cooker, obviously, yeah. I guess I took it for granted, but the cooker is there, and yeah, it's a very comfortable environment for me to cook in, with a place to cut my vegetables on the side there, and 4 burners. I can see it's a gas one, and it has an oven. That's a very sophisticated kitchen, a place where I can wash my dishes. That's in the forefront, and it looks like it has 2 basins. It's a very modern kitchen.
That tells you that people are not just looking for what you are selling. There's something else people are looking for when they're picking out your item. And this will only come out on how you have branded yourself or your product and how you have communicated. The other side is a holiday place. And for sure, somebody will travel, pay a lot of money to be able to fly in that city to have a holiday, not because they want to sleep, but because they're looking for something extra. And today, many of the things that we do today, if we are not able to position yourself, your brand, beyond what we can see, beyond the ordinary, beyond the cooking, beyond the sleep, then most likely media may not work for you. And that takes me to the next slide, branding. And many of us have had people mention that who and who is a brand, this and this is a brand. But what does it mean? What does it mean to have a brand? And I've simply said, for you to be able to define yourself as a brand, then 2 things must be working for you. One is that there must be a reputation. And the other one is visibility. If you're not able to achieve those 2 things in terms of branding, then regardless of the type of media that you're using, it becomes so difficult for you to be noticed and have an impact amongst your audience. What is the reputation that you want to communicate as you choose the form of media to use? What is the kind of visibility that you want to achieve when you want to be able to reach out to a number of audience? And many of us, we have talked about the issue of branding, but when we go behind the scene as a person or behind the scene as a product and service, is there a reputation? How many people are you able to reach? Some of the brands that we have today, or we as brands ourselves, you will not be able to hack to some levels until those 2 things happen to your brand. And what this does to your brand is that it positions you. It gives you advantage against other people that you're competing with. And I can tell you, each one of us seated here or listening to me today, you are in a competition. There are people that are offering services like you. There are people that are positioning themselves better than you. And therefore, for you, it will be important that as you choose what kind of media to use, the first thing to do is ensure that is my brand reputable? Is my brand acceptable? What is the character behind my brand? And I've put their quote there by a man called ODM. ODM is not a party. ODM is by name, OTIEKA Dismas Makanda. Brand positioning is not doing, but becoming. You can speak well and dress well and miss out on brand positioning. Your network, your net worth may not necessarily mean your brand is well positioned. There are well-connected people who have means, but their brand is very weak. And I'll give you an example of a lady called Vivian Cow. Anybody who knows Vivian Cow? Anybody who knows Vivian Cow? Please don't Google. I know many of us have begun Googling. Vivian Cow is estimated worth is about $1 million US, and his husband is about 200 million US. How many know without Googling anywhere? Vivian Cow, please don't Google. You can raise your hand or put in the chat, and then the moderator will help me read the chat. These are very wealthy people, and especially Vivian Cow. So that tells you your brand may not be necessarily defined by what you have or the people around you. There are more things that need to be done. Anybody who was found who is Vivian Cow?
Catherine says she knows her.
Yes,
not Catherine, but Wanjiku Gasheru, rather.
Yes, Wanjiku. Who is Vivian Cow?
Wanjiku, you can say who that person.
Just unmute and you'll say.
I don't know her. I don't know her.
She said, I don't know her.
No, there is somebody here who said, okay. Oh, she said, I don't know her. Sorry. No idea. Nobody. Somebody, Bella Minds. Bella says TikTok CEO's wife.
Yes. All of us know TikTok very well, eh?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, we know TikTok. The
CEO is a very wealthy man, of course young, but you don't know about the wife. So that tells you there are things that you're supposed to do as a person, as a brand, to be able to be noticed. The act of designing the company's offering and image to occupy a distinctive place in the mind of the target audience. What is recorded in the mind of your audience when they see you, when they see your brand? You must be able to invest in something for you to be able to reach that level. And you can put your name in the center there. How Dismas is different from his competitors, how Unilever is different from his competitors, how do you sit in the mind of the people that you are addressing? Many of us are in consultancy, many of us are offering services, many of us are in retail business, are doing food, many of us are doing furniture, but then how do people perceive you when they see you? Allow me to talk about 4 simple approach that will make your brand stand out so that it has a specific perception to your target audience. Number 1, it must be simple. Complication sometimes will deny your ability to be able to leverage on media. You have a communication you take to media, online, social media, on radio and TV, but you're not able to get traction. The reason is that there must be clarity. Your brand must be identifiable. Number 2, it must stand out, must be unique, must be attractive. From the face value, people must see solution. Please communicate the promise when you are addressing your people. When people see you, do they see a promise? How do you introduce yourself? What does your brand talk about? Does it tell people that something is going to be resolved? And last, it must be sociable. It must have a human face. It must be emotional, must show love, must show care, must be flexible. And sometimes the brand must laugh. And I've put a few brands on the screen without their names. All of us know the brand here. Anybody who knows which brand is this?
Yes, of course, that is Toyota.
Toyota. This one here, below Toyota.
Said Toyota.
Below Toyota.
Yes, let's speak. Yes, NMG, Nation Media. People have said.
This one here. This is YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube here, YT.
We have Apple
YouTube,
here.
yeah.
We have Instagram. What about this one here?
Most
The one
visible Safaricom, Shell, and NMG. So that is Shell.
And this one here?
That one looks familiar. Oh, this must be some. Is it supermarket? Carrefour. Ile tulikona shida kusema.
Now let me ask you. So many of us have logos and have a way you communicate. When the people see you, are they able to know who you are? Is there clarity? Are you identifiable? Do you stand out? Do you provide a solution? Most of the brands that you've seen on the screen here, they provide a solution. And some that you don't, like this one here, if I ask you which brand is this, you'll not be able to tell me. The one written in a long word here. You have never heard about it. Though it's a word, but still, it doesn't come out. So you may be describing yourself using a sentence, a word, but is it simple? Does it stand out? Does it provide a solution? Is it sociable? And brands can be measured. And I've just given you a few statistics there on how big brands are measured. If you're not able to measure your brand today, then you have some work to do. I've put up some big brands in the world: Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Walmart, Tesla, and TikTok there. All these brands, if you ask the owners, they will be able to tell you, my brand is worth this amount. If I wanted to buy today Amazon, then US billion dollars, 299. If I wanted to buy one of your brand, one of your name, say today Power Monday, if I want to take it over, how much would I pay?
What's your offer?
No, you are the one selling. If I wanted to pick up this brand and use it, how much does it cost?
We need to measure.
Now you should be able.
As the algorithm.
You must be able to measure your brand as a person, the things you sell, the services you give out, to be able to know that now where I have reached for this brand to make an impact, or if for me to take it to a media platform, could it be social media, could it be print? This is the value of my brand. If your company were to be bought out by another business and they wanted to use your name, logo, and brand identity to sell products or services, how much would it cost? And the value is what we are calling brand equity, that allows you build your brand values and drives your brand loyalty. Building brand equity and value requires a few things here again that I want us to pick and are related to what we're discussing today: marketing and advertising. Many SMEs today, when you ask them, they tell you, no, advertising is for Safaricom, advertising is for big brands. But I can tell you some of our brands will not be able to take off if we do not make a decision, a deliberate decision to invest in marketing and advertising. Number two is association, partnership, sponsorship in small ways. Are you able to identify small events where we have people, traffic? Are you able to partner with them and sponsor them? What you are describing on the kitchen app there is what I'm calling custom experience. Many of the people today are willing to pay more or choose brands ahead of the competitors because of the experience, not because of anything else. If I knew that I'm going to have an experience, I can drive miles and kilometers away to just get a packet of milk that I can buy next door because of the experience. Investing in your brand can transform it from zero to a world-class brand. The past can determine your future brand if you do nothing about your brand, but your present, what you do today is what will determine how fast your brand will be able to accelerate. And the best way is to begin small and scale it. The best way to leverage on any print or any broadcast or any digital, we have a lot of social media platforms that we've come up with, and we are posting many things, and you're wondering, why am I not seeing an impact? There must be specific things that should begin to work on your brand equity, to give your brand value, and begin to build a loyalty. And one of the areas that are very key, and keys because it's cheaper, is the social media. I know a number of us have a social media platform, either for business or for individual. But that tool is very powerful. Why? Because social media will allow you speak to your audience, will allow you interact with them. They're able to give you feedback instantly, as opposed to traditional media where you be able just to see what I'm saying as a brand, but I'm not able to communicate back. Social media allows your audience to give you feedback, to query your brand, query your character, query your reputation and visibility. We have about 4 billion people who are online and are using social media. And therefore, it's a space where you can be able to grow your brand significantly. Social media allows you to boost your content. And I can ask anyone here, if you were to type in your name on any of the browsers, what name does it come? Peter. If I asked you, please type your name in any of your browser.
My name will come as it is. People can try. It always comes, Otieno Paul Peter, with all my websites, whatever, everything, videos, media mentions and everything. So
yes,
I'm a big brand.
That tells you you're doing quite a bit of work. But I can tell you, some of us, if you were to type your name, the things that will come will amaze you. You can type and Anne tells you Anne the saloonist, and the milk seller. Social media will allow you to be able to leverage on the spaces that you are not able to reach. And therefore, a few things that you are supposed to do. Number one, it will be important for you to identify the audience, define the person you want to speak to in terms of their demographic, their interest, their goals, what would they love to have on the immediate. You must have objectives when you're using social media in terms of what do you want to achieve? Do you want to increase traffic? Do you want to generate leads? Do you want to create a conversation? Do you want to boost engagement? And politicians use this. Check out your competition for benchmarking. What are they doing? Decide which platform to use. Is it TikTok? And I've given an example. If you are targeting retirees and you went on TikTok, then be sure you'll not be able to get anybody. Is it Facebook? Do you understand the generations you are dealing with? Many of us have brands that deal with that we are targeting young people, but the platform you're using basically targets people who are older, and therefore the platform you are using is quite critical. Optimize your profile. When we see the first face, could it be a landing page? Could it be the icon when we visit your pages? Are we able to see your logo? Are we able to see what's the color that define you? Like you see for Monday, we can see we have a bit of, is it green? The specific color that will define you. And therefore, it's important that you pick out important things that people want to see about you, and especially when you are addressing a large group of people. Plan your content aligned to your goal. Think through and decide whether you want to use blogs, you want to use video. There are cases where videos will work better for you than just scripts. Create a calendar. When do you want to post them? So that you don't just post anytime. Sometimes we wake up very early in the morning, people are asleep, and you share out your content, and by end of the day, nobody has looked at it. You need to have a calendar of how do you want to post this? Track your performance. Reinvent yourself every day. Think through every day for you to be able to get leverage. And I've just picked one, social media. Why? Because it's the simplest way to be able to push your brand. And even traditional media today, they are shifting away from the traditional TV and radio terrestrial and moving towards the social media. Allow me to give you a thought here from the book of Matthew, chapter 13, 20 to 24. And it's a story. as I go towards the close. Here is another story. The kingdom of heaven is like a farmer who planted good seed in his field. But that night, as the worker slept, his enemy came and planted weeds among the wheat, then slipped away. When the crop began to grow and produce grain, the weeds also grew. The farmer's workers went to him and said, "Sir, the field where you planted that good seed is full of weeds. Where did they come from?" "An enemy has done this," the farmer exclaimed. "Should we pull out the weeds?" they asked. "No," he replied. "You will uproot the wheat. If you do, let both grow together until the harvest. Then I will tell the harvester to sort out the weeds, tie them into bundles and burn them, and to put the wheat in the barn." A few thoughts here. This is the parable that was given to be able to illustrate a few things that happens to us, especially when we are setting out to do something. The farmer went out and planted. He did not know that when he went to sleep, a few things happen. And this happens even to our brands. That once you set out and put your brand outside there are things that happen that you are not aware of. They never planted the weeds before the wheat. It's until your vision is clear when the weeds begin to appear. The wheat will definitely attract weeds. That is that you are not in a vacuum. Anytime you spring up with an idea, just know that there's some weeds are going to come up. The devil earmarks potential with calamity. Many of the things that we see in the physical, sometimes they have a spiritual or a background. And therefore, for you, it's important to know that even as you work on your brand, there are things that you're supposed to ensure that you deal with. The devil and hell knew what God was going to do for you. And therefore, the devil began immediately you put down your vision and you put down your brand, he began to work silently. What have we done in most cases? We have now abandoned our vision and began to uproot the weeds. The struggle and discouragement are because the devil earmarked us and he does not want us to be established. And therefore, I want to challenge us today, even as I finish, is that as we work on our brand, which media to use. Of course, we know media has had influence, both positive and negative, but what is critical for us, and I want to challenge us, that even as you work on the brand, please commit this brand, commit these ways, commit your plans to the Lord. And the Bible says in the book of Proverbs 16:3, he will establish it. My last two slides is to demonstrate how sometimes we can go wrong when you're buying media. The data there is for June from Geopol, and it describes Hope TV. It has 3 bars. The first bar, 1%, we call it LSM1. The second one is LSM2, which is 9 to 12, and the last one is LSM 13 and 17. Sometimes we just go out there and say, I want to advertise. Now, this bar tells you that if you are going to achieve something from here, you must be able to understand what is the LSM for your viewers or for the people who are listening to you. LSM is lifestyle measure, the living standards. And it tells you that for Hope TV, many of the audience are high income earners between 13 and 17. Of course, they have a work to do to be able to pull up the LSM, the lower one, the low income. And therefore, if I was to communicate a brand that I want to talk to affluent, where do I go? What will be the conversion? You may be speaking to about, say, 20 million people, but what's the conversion? You must be able to understand what is the LSM. The last one, of course, is the impact, just demonstrating impact. How you can be able to leverage on the impact when you use media. Something that you will communicate to about 20,000 people, you can communicate 28 million. This is Citizen. You can communicate 20 million. That tells you media has ability of amplifying what you are doing, but you must first of all work on the brand to be able to get that. Allow me pick a few feedback. It's exactly 8:03.
Great. Yeah, let's have questions. Yes, Omondi, that's good. Yes, Omondi says, that is Maurice, I like the interpretation of that parable. And Dr. Eda says, this is amazing, thank you. So let's have some reactions, some questions, if any, you can put them in the chat, or you could raise up your hand and mention them. Yeah. Great insight. That's from Julie. Thank you. What are the best timings for to post on social media? That's a question from Anne. What are the best timings to post on social media? How does one grow their brand? There is that question also from somebody. Let me just read them. So I don't know how you would like to pick them one at a time.
Allow me pick those ones, eh?
Yes.
And I mentioned you need to have a calendar when you are making communication. And this is on any platform. Could it be radio? Could it be TV? And you find, I'll give an example. If you wanted to do an advertisement that will be able to reach more people, definitely you will go for a morning show, because you have a lot of people who are on the road and they are driving, and therefore they have access to their radio. So you have a more impact. If you wanted to reach out to, say, the young people, what time would they be available? Would it be on a Friday? Would it be on Monday? Probably on Monday. Many of them, the young people, probably are in school. Could it be a weekend when they are more free? So it depends on the audience, the type of people you want to talk to, and what time are they free. If it's a family product or brand, what time is the family at home? Do you want to talk to the children, to the mother, or the father? So it's dependent on the audience you want to reach. How to grow your brand is basically what we have just mentioned, that you should be able to position, you should be able to invest in the brand, you should be able to make it simple, it must stand out, it must be recognized, and you must invest some little money in it.
Yes, then are you still going on?
I finished.
Okay, great. Then there is another question on there is this question to do with how does one, no, that one we answered. How can the media be used positively to handle the blackout issues, especially with the impact at JKIA? And then somebody has also asked, is it detrimental to your brand if you change your logo? Yes, maybe you can speak about those two.
Yes, depending on objective, and I know after today, a number of us are going to change their logos, and I will go back to where we began. The best thing is to be able to be flexible. If your logo is not simple, specific colors, what is it clear? Does it stand out? Is it complicated? It's not bad to change your logo. Please go ahead and review it, but have in mind that it must be simple, stand out. It must provide a solution. It must be have good character, and lastly, it must be sociable. In terms of what happened, social media can put a lot of pressure on you if you are not prepared. And therefore, and social media does not forget, and you guys know what happened after the pressure was so high. So yes, is a way you're able to reach more people, more millions. Assuming there was no social media, then you will not know what would have happened or what were the consequences. But because of what was happening on social media, then we were able to see a number of things that were happening. and are going to happen because of the communication that went out.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's well done. Great. So people have given reaction here, great insight. This has been amazing. You have opened my eyes to a lot of things I hadn't considered. Thank you. Then presentations, great presentation. Thanks, Dismas Makanda. Then great presentation and interpretation. Thank you to ODM, Mr. ODM and LYD team for today's session. Quite informative. That's from Christine presentation. Then Olale says, I love to listen to Hope FM. I don't have access to Hope TV. Big question. How do you balance between CITAM policy and business stroke profits versus Horvi's misleading adverts? Yeah, the idea is there is the focus of CITAM and the policies, and then there is the profit element, and there could be misleading adverts. Do you find that as a challenge? And if any, if it is, how do you balance? Then Lisa said, amazing. Good.
Thank you. Maybe allow me respond to that. Again, yeah. What must be very clear with your brand, and what we try to do at Hope Media is to make our mission very clear that we are an outreach tool to be able to preach. And when you see the ranking there as number 10 countrywide, it is not because probably we are getting a lot of adverts. It's because you are making your agenda clear that, first of all, you are a ministry. But as we become a ministry, we have attracted a lot of interest. Because of the crowd around you, you will attract some interest that you may not have envisaged. Number two, again, the issue of commercial, Manda, the person who asked, is because of sustainability. That because the media house has really grown, and therefore you are supposed to be able to ensure that you are on air, you are able to be compliant, you're able to pay your bills, and therefore you must find a balance without sacrificing your key role to allow a few people who want to communicate, and the brands that, of course, their vision and their values are clear. We allow them on the platform to be able to generate money to pay salaries, money to pay licenses, money to procure content. But again, we welcome feedback. We may not give it here, but I will leave my number behind. Anybody who has feedback about the brand, again, we can be able to address it. Thank you, leadership. Allow me hand back to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dismas. And welcome all of you who are here for the first time. We usually have this every single Monday, unless it is a public holiday in Kenya. But we have this every Monday from 7:15 to 8:15. And we are pleased to have you. And the other thing is we also have a WhatsApp group, which you can join by filling in your details in the form in the link provided. And at this point, I'd like to welcome somebody to give a vote of thanks. Catherine Kriba, are you in a position to do that?